Hi there, this is Josh. For the first time, I plan on conducting a book review on this channel. This is not the first book review on this channel because Ari's done a book review and Charlie did a poem review, or a collection of poems. And I've done individual videos, but they were tags, wrap-ups, hauls. Never have I done a traditional book review, which that's going to change today because today I'm going to be reviewing a book from this year's Nobel Prize in Literature winner. Svetlana Alexievich is a Belarusian journalist who reported on the Chernobyl nuclear disaster that occurred in 1986. So I'm going to be reviewing her Voices from Chernobyl, which had to do with accounts that the citizens of Belarus had to endure during this travesty of a time. The way that this is set up is through monologues. It's not her reporting, but instead it's them telling their story. And the stories can be like the first one, which had to do with a woman named Ludmilla, who's talking about how her husband Vasily was a fireman who was a responder to the disaster, and it affected him physically to the point that it made him radioactive, and he just kept deteriorating until he died, and how she because she came into contact with him, much to the dismay of medical authorities, it would affect her and the children that came later on in her life, and that he was supposed to see because she was pregnant at the time that this happened. That's how the story begins. The tone of the different accounts, one guy talks about how he wrote a story about how people were going to walk on four legs and have multiple eyes and ears, and he sent it to the journal, and they sent it back saying that this isn't literature, this is a nightmare. And that, which he was pretty much telling his account, so I would argue that it is literature, but I guess that it was very truthful literature, which, in a way, that's what makes it remarkable. But otherwise, these monologues were about, some of them were about measurements, some of them were about physics and the role of physics. Someone even talked about the price of salami and how expensive it was. But what really drives the story is the fact that people were affected in all kinds of ways because of this nuclear disaster. And it gives us a sense of what it would be like if anything happened beyond Chernobyl. Alexievich is actually not the first non-fiction writer to have won the prize, or she's not the first person to win the prize primarily for her nonfiction. Someone else that has won for their nonfiction is Winston Churchill, who wrote about Britain's history and the history of World War II. But since then, winners have been novelists, poets, short story writers, playwrights, and that entire make. Voices from Chernobyl was just really raw. I felt that Alexievich did an excellent job making this about the people of Belarus. And it was them speaking and them reacting. She even made mention to, if for some reason they choked up, she mentioned that, and that people were, that someone started to cry or that someone started to get mixed up in their words because it was so emotional. This is definitely something that you should check out, especially if Russian history is an interest of yours. I highly encourage you to go and pick this up and look into this year's Nobel Prize winner in literature. Alexievich was the front runner. I think that was a rightful position for her. And well, Ko-un is probably my favorite among the nominees that were mentioned. Not an official nominee, but a name that was speculated. Alexievich deserved the prize for what she did and the work that she put into this. And I gave it a perfect 10 out of 10. I hope you check this one out. And I hope you check out some more of our videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to keep tuning in to this channel. And as always, keep reading.